How did Eddie Hall use hypnosis to become the strongest man in the world? This is really interesting. We're going to break down the specific technique he credits for being the only reason he was able to make the massive improvement that he did. So when he went into this wasn't a little goal. This was actually massive. Now, 500 kg had been talked about for a long time. No one was sure if it was even physically doable. And incrementally, this record had been increasing for years and years and years. But when Eddie Hall went about doing 500 kilos, that was 37 kg more than his own record, which was only the previous year. And when we're talking about these maximal weights, usually marginal gains of 0.5%, 1% at most is a crazy increase. So the fact that he put on 37 kilos in 1 year is absolutely insane. It's a testament to the power of the mind and explains why something like this is only achievable with the full harnessing of your brain's true potential. And so he couldn't do this. And this is what I love about goal setting, is your goals are always supposed to be something that you are not capable of doing. And so after 6 months of when he first set this goal, he was kind of realizing, I don't know if I can actually do this. Now, when he was looking at breaking down this record, how he was going to actually achieve it, there's always more to the mind. There's always more to the body, and Eddie understood this. This is something that David Goggins talks about all the time. When you feel like you're done, you're only 20% of the way done. You still have 80% waiting in your tank. And so this is where they tapped into what if this was life or death? Because there's studies. I used to be a personal trainer helping people with chronic pain. And one thing that I looked at in my background of going over muscle fiber recruitment is typically, let's say you recruit, when you're trying your hardest in the gym, you're not actually firing 100% of the fibers that are in that muscle which you're firing. A trained professional, the elite of the elite, typically fire around 85%. They have 85% muscle fiber recruitment. Really, really good, really advanced is 75 to 80% of those fibers will be recruited. And typical is anywhere around 60%. So we actually have a lot more waiting in reserve, but it's a mental thing first. You have to train your body to get the most and to be willing to recruit the most possible fibers. And then there's another percentage. There's the hidden percentage, which is your brain doesn't fire 100% of its capacity because that is literally bone shattering. You have enough strength in your muscles if every fiber fired at the same time to break the bones that are contained within those muscles. And they're there, but the brain's an energy conservation machine. It's not, imagine if every time you picked up a cup of water, you maximally grabbed onto it and you maximally lifted it up to your face. You would shatter the cup and you would slam it into your face. So we have to be able to choose and selectively recruit muscle fibers. But when it comes to a life or death situation, there are a lot more fibers, there is a lot more power that our body just doesn't typically get into. And two examples of this. Now, Lauren Koronaki, she was lifting a car off her father, right? And I think she did take some damage in this because generally, that amount of strength, your body can't handle it. Can't handle it for very long at all. And Tiny, this is a crazy video to watch. Yeah, I almost wouldn't. It's not graphic or anything, but it's just so insane you're literally watching a life or death situation happen in front of you. And it's 1,000 thousands of pounds helicopter that has just crashed, and the guy on the left dives right in. So there's someone beneath those two guys, and his head's trapped under the water. And in this situation, the helicopter weighs thousands of pounds, shouldn't be movable at all, but it came down to life or death. It was his friend trapped under the helicopter, so he did it. He went in and he moved it. So what Eddie Hall did when he's realizing, okay, I'm not sure if I can get this, training really isn't going all the way, I feel tapped out on the physical side of things. This is where they tapped into hypnosis. This is one technique which NLP popularized. Richard Bandler, he was kind of the father of NLP. And if you think of this NLP technique as one specific aspect of hypnosis. Now, in the right state, well, obviously, the strength recruitment is state dependent. So getting into a life or death state, the body goes, oh, okay, now we have to recruit all the muscle fibers that we have. And subconsciously, that's a state that you can maintain. It's not just a fleeting experience. This is something that is hardwired and it becomes coded into the brain. That's what we use hypnosis for. So you might have used NLP in the past where you're just trying to, think about this, which is going to make me feel a little bit better, and then I'll have the motivation to do this thing. That's the very surface level application of this. Whereas what we want to actually do is tap into this at a subconscious level. And what Eddie actually did was he made it so that every time he approached the bar, it was literally life or death. He talks about having a very graphic experience, which they used in hypnosis to remind himself of every single time he got up to the bar. And you'll see it in the video of him lifting the weight. He's fighting demons, and he's getting into the part of his brain that says, no, it's not a goal. It's not an optional thing to lift this weight. It is a must. If your goals are just shoulds, not musts, you'll never reach them. And we need your brain at a subconscious level to know that they are musts, not just shoulds, not just nice to haves. So how can you get into an anchor? How can you build this for yourself when it comes to money, when it comes to performance, when it comes to relationships? Firstly, we need to identify how it is that you want to operate, right? Life or death, lift this or don't lift this, might not be what you're going for. It might be confidence. It might be speaking on stage. It might be making that sale. It might be talking to your clients in a new way. All that we need to know is how do you want to feel? And then secondly, we're moving into coming up with a memory or tapping into a time where you feel like you experienced this state. If you've never experienced it before, someone who you know, who you've seen, who you look up to, that's tapped into this state. And after that, once you know the memory, we need a trigger for this memory, right? Can be something physical, can be something mental, it can be a song. I like to use as many of the 5 senses as possible for this. Touch, taste, sight, sound, smell, hearing, whatever it is for you, we need as big of a combination to fully take you into embodying this experience. That is why we go in and we do this in hypnosis, because when you're already in a subconscious state, it's so much easier to make this happen. Create the association, use this, practice this, rehearse it, and all of a sudden this state of I can do anything, my goals are musts, not shoulds, becomes easy. So just like Pavlov's dogs, when he rang a bell and gave them food, eventually he didn't even give them food, just the sound of the bell would trigger them to salivate. You can trigger your brain just by mentally going to these places to tap into the state that you want to be in. So if you're looking to level up, if you're looking to make your brain work for you so that you can go even further, even faster, tap into this today. Tap into your full potential by using anchoring to unlock everything that's been laying dormant within you.